Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm making my predictions for the 2020 edition of AEW's All Out. A card with 9 matches currently on it, and I feel like a lot of steam behind it and a lot of hype with paying customers being back in the stands for a pay-per-view in a long time, and a few new match types that we haven't seen before, or haven't seen this variation in wrestling. I feel like this show will be really good, and I think it will be an enjoyable 3 hours or so. So with that being said, we'll get right into my predictions for AEW's All Out. So the first match of the evening will be on the buy-in, and it will be a tooth and nail match featuring Britt Baker making her return to the ring, taking on Big Swole. This was just confirmed a few hours ago by Tony Khan himself that this will be a cinematic match. I feel like they'll be fighting in a dentist office or something that looks like a dentist office, so expect a lot of Isaac Yankem DDS vibes here and callbacks. But when this match is all said and done, I feel like with Britt Baker making her return here, I feel like she'll get the win and beat Big Swole here. With the landscape of the AEW women's division, with Thunder Rosa being brought in to take on Sheeta later on in the show, I believe Britt Baker would be the next one that they move up to take on the champion, whoever that would be at the end of this night. And I feel like they would hold off for the next pay-per-view, which I think is in November, October, one of those. And Britt Baker can keep saying that there's a conspiracy and keep that going on, which she was doing before and during, and more than likely after her injury is up here, to where she's saying AEW is keeping the face of the women's division away from that title before getting her shot at the next pay-per-view. So now on to the main card and match number 2, which will be for the AEW Tag Team titles, where we see Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega defending their belts against FTR. I feel like this match is leading to the collision course of who turns on who between Hangman and Omega here, and with all that in there, I feel like FTR will walk out as the new AEW Tag Team Champions. With the way things have been shaking out on TV, with Hangman being kicked out of the Elite after costing the Young Bucks a chance to get into the finals to take on FTR to then face Omega and Hangman here, I feel like with Omega's teases to changing to the cleaner on being the Elite and the inevitable Young Bucks vs FTR match, I feel like it makes the most sense that those have the tag team titles, and the road to that will begin here at All Out. So now on to match number 3, and that'll be an 8-man tag team match where we'll see the Dark Order of Brody Lee, Colt Cabana, Evil Uno, and Stu Grayson taking on the team of Matt Cardona, Scorpio Sky, and the Natural Nightmares of Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall. I feel like with the way the Dark Order is being built up on Dynamite and just getting promoted everywhere in AEW, that they'll go in and win this match. I feel like Brody Lee is going to come in and wreck shop before QT Marshall gets pinned, more than likely. The only way I can see the other team of Cardona, Sky, and the Natural Nightmares winning this is if somehow Cody makes his return here on All Out. So now on to match number 4, which will be the 21-man Casino Battle Royale, which currently has 17 participants who are Darby Allin, Lance Archer, Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, Pentagon Jr., Ray Phoenix, The Butcher, The Blade, Eddie Kingston, Shawn Spears, Billy Gunn, Austin Gunn, Jake Hager, Santana, Ortiz, Chuck Taylor, and Trent. Now my feelings on these Casino Battle Royals, ladder matches, Casino whatevers, I don't think the person is going to win most of the time, and I still think that here. So you kind of think of what would be the best matchup to happen with the two people in the main event of MJF and Moxley here. And I feel like the best option of the people who are currently announced to have a world title match with whoever wins in the main event, I believe, is Eddie Kingston. With Kingston just heading up his new group with Ray Phoenix, Pentagon Jr., and The Butcher and The Blade, I feel like he'll install like a lead by example thing here where I won this world title chance, that I'm going to take it and make the most of it, and they'll build that up for weeks before he ultimately loses to whoever. But I feel like a match with him and Moxley, I can do some crazy hardcore match, or if MJF were to win tonight, I feel like Kingston just teasing that he's just going to beat the holy hell out of MJF with all these crazy things will lead to MJF just being scared and prolonging their potential clash for longer and longer down the road. So now on to our next match, and that'll be match number 5, and it'll be a Broken Rules match, which will see Matt Hardy taking on Sammy Guevara. The stipulation of if Matt Hardy loses here, he's gone from AEW, I think will play a huge role in the winner of this match, and I don't think Matt Hardy's going anywhere unless it would just work as a character change, which I don't know how that will go, but I feel like Matt Hardy will beat Sammy Guevara here. With Guevara winning the table match a few weeks ago, and then Hardy being the one why this feud started, getting popped with a chair, start bleeding everywhere, I just feel like it's a good end to the story with Matt Hardy just closing the chapter here and beating Guevara to move on to something else. So now on to match number 6, and that'll be for the AEW Women's Championship, where we'll see see Hikaru Shida defending her title against the NWA Women's Champion of Thunder Rosa. I think this match has a big ripple effect on things that I don't think people are really thinking about going into this show. That if Thunder Rosa were to beat Shida here and become the AEW Women's Champion, this could mean a very close and prolonged working relationship between the NWA and AEW for months and maybe years to come. But my thinking is, with the NWA currently not running any shows due to what's going on in the world, I think Shida will walk in and walk out still the AEW Women's Champion. If we all knew when the NWA was going to run next and could run a potential big show / pay-per-view, I could see Rosa winning here, and then Shida goes to the NWA to take on Rosa like in the next couple months. But with that being the unknown, I think this will be a close match with Rosa just getting beat out by Shida here to leave the door open to when the NWA does come back, that maybe she starts calling Shida out on their show to where Shida and her take on each other in an NWA title match down the road. So that will move on to match number 7 of the evening, which will be a tag team match where we'll see the Jurassic Express taking on the Young Bucks. I believe with the Young Bucks just being pissed about how they were screwed at getting a chance at the tag team titles here, I think they're gonna go in and get the win against Jurassic Express. Like I said earlier in the video, I think the FTR Young Bucks match is inevitably gonna happen at the next pay-per-view for those tag titles, and a win here will set the Young Bucks up on a run to go after them, with them probably having a little detour going after Hangman Page before resetting their sights back on FTR and those tag team titles. So now on to match number 8, the co-main event of the evening. And that'll be a Mimosa Mayhem match where we'll see Chris Jericho taking on Orange Cassidy. With this being the rubber match with them each being tied at 1 win apiece against each other, I feel like this will be the end of their rivalry here, and I think that Orange Cassidy will come out on top and get the win here. The reason I think this is a little baffling here, but if you don't think Chris Jericho is going to get tossed into that vat of mimosa and pull the Wicked Witch from the Wizard of Oz and pretend like he's melting, I think you're crazy. I think after this match we'll see Jericho does prolong that. He hasn't been pinned or submitted in AEW since he lost to Cassidy and he lost his title. That Cassidy just threw him into a vat that he really didn't do anything to move on to his next rival, which will then leave Cassidy, I think, will more likely feud with MJF, whether that's for the world title or not for the world title. I just don't see him and Brody Lee tangling up for that TNT championship. And with the way people love Orange Cassidy, I think a match with him and MJF will be a great rivalry for months to come. So now on to the main event of the evening. And that'll be for the AEW World Championship, where we'll see Jon Moxley defend his title against MJF, where in this match, Moxley is banned from using the Paradigm Shift. Now, I feel like this is definitely the hardest match to pick on the card, where I feel like it's a 50-50 split of where people think the title's going. So where you think MJF could win it, or you think Moxley can retain. But my thought right now is that I think with the Paradigm Shift just being banned for Moxley to use, MJF's going to think he's so smart that he's going to go for it. Moxley's going to reverse it into something else and beat MJF to retain the AEW World Championship here. I just feel like AEW is going to have MJF's long win streak that he's been on just get snapped here to where MJF is just going to keep throwing a fit every week on Dynamite. That he was screwed for this reason and this thing happening was nonsense, and that AEW screwed him out of his world title, and that his win streak was all for nothing because AEW management doesn't want him being the face of the company. And then in the meantime for Moxley, I think he'll more than likely have a match later on Dynamite against Eddie Kingston for that world title. So that'll do it for my predictions for the 2020 edition of All Out. Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you like what I'm doing on this channel and want to see more in the future, hit the subscribe button. And as always, thanks for watching.